There is a problem. A birthday that was transformed into a crime scene. A popular rapper who passed much too soon, and now, his own kid making terrifying revelations. All of our preconceived notions regarding young Scooter's death have been upended by surprising new facts that surfaced just days ago. Was it only a terrible run-in with the law? Or was it a pretext, a sacrifice, concealed in layers of power and silence? And why are witnesses going missing inexplicably while the probe drags on, like someone tugging at the strings? We must put the pieces together, go over the facts again, and be open to the dark realities that are concealed in plain sight before delving deeply into what young Scooter's son just disclosed, and the purported receipts. This is not another tragedy involving a famous person. This might be far more sinister.
APD killed young Scooter and they tried to cover it up by saying he failed. See, we all need people like Future on our team. That man has resources, curiosity, and power.
And when they find the person that swatted young Scooter, they need to charge them with an M. Huh? And when they find the person that swatted young Scooter, they need to charge her with an M.
There was literally the house, literally the neighbors next door at the house of the address that I just gave you, the 270.
Our comprehension of the case was drastically changed when the son of rapper Young Scooter recently disclosed some startling new details about his father's death. Furthermore, it looks like Young Scooter might have been set up, and his son might have the proof. Only a few days ago was this information made public. Arguments that the tale doesn't add up, and that many people don't accept the fact that Young Scooter died on his birthday, have already surfaced since his untimely demise. How likely is it that anyone will even imply that Young Scooter was sacrificed and that it might have something to do with this labeled bosses and his boyhood friend's future? What precisely happened to Young Scooter? Then, and why can't the authorities find any witnesses? Why is it taking so long to investigate? Are they paying someone to ignore it?
This morning, we're staying on top of some big breaking news as rapper Young Scooter, whose real name is Kenneth Bailey, died last night. We confirmed this directly. We'll do the Fulton County medical exam.
Fans are reeling in shock and mourning after Atlanta-based rapper Young Scooter died suddenly on March 8, 2025, following a run-in with the law. Nobody anticipated it. Let's be honest, how likely is it that you will pass away unexpectedly and inexplicably on your birthday? In his prime, Young Scooter still had a lot to live for. In fact, the day he passed away was his 39th birthday. Many others are still struggling to understand how someone so vibrant could have disappeared from the world so quickly. Naturally, online detectives have started investigating it since it's unexplained. The alarming information that has come to light will astound you. Fans have created a number of conspiracy theories regarding his sacrifice, and now Young Scooter's son is contributing to the conversation by disclosing even more shocking details about what truly happened to him. Things are beginning to look quite suspect because of all the online rumors and the fact that the police haven't released enough official information. Let's start by talking about Young Scooter's life and his importance to the Atlanta trap culture. Kenneth Edward Rashad Bailey, better known by his stage as Young Scooter, was born on March 28, 1986, in Walterboro, South Carolina, into a humble family. When he was 9 years old, his family moved to Atlanta, Georgia's Kirkwood community, also referred to as Little Mexico, and he was immediately drawn to the streets. African Americans and people of ethnic minority background make up the majority of the population of Little Mexico, an area that is extremely disadvantaged and has one of the highest rates of crime in the country. The government mostly ignores the residents and fails to provide them with the necessary support services to make their lives simpler. However, the fact that Little Mexico produced rappers like Future, Gucky Mane, Doughboy, and, of course, Young Scooter is one of its stronger features. Atlanta's trap movement had a big impact on Young Scooter as a teenager. Even before his family moved to Little Mexico, he started rapping when he was 8 years old. But living in an area where rap and trap culture were so common inspired him to improve his abilities. Unfortunately, he also started engaging in illegal activities and got embroiled in the streets. Young Scooter was awakened to the fact that he had been detained and charged with drug trafficking by 2008. After that, he made the decision to devote himself entirely to his rap career. His first mixtape, Plug Talkin', was released in 2011. It was a respectable project that received little attention, but it afforded Young Scooter early notoriety and the chance to be discovered by more established musicians. He was already collaborating with musicians like Future, a boyhood pal, by the time his second mixtape was released. Getting Future to co-sign him wasn't a minor achievement, but he wasn't even close to realizing his full potential. When Young Scooter released his mixtape Street Lottery in 2013, he finally received a significant boost. With Street Lottery, Young Scooter became well-known, and prominent music journals started to take notice of him. XXL listed it as one of the best mixtapes of January, and Spin called it the week's best rap release. According to Eric Deeb of XXL magazine, Young Scooter was one of the most well-known street rappers to emerge from Atlanta. He added that his unquestionable brilliance is evident in songs like Columbia and Street Lottery. With Scooter's popularity and his collaborations with well-known artists like Birdman and Rick Ross, things could only get better. After getting arrested in April 2013 for a parole violation, Scooter's career hit a big snag just when the hype surrounding him was at an all-time high. For a young man who had to overcome all obstacles to reach his current position, working with musicians such as Gucci Mane and Lil Wayne was no easy task. According to one hip-hop site, he was more in demand than water in a desert. It's interesting to note that Young Scooter was supposedly housed in the same cell as Gucci Mane, who was also imprisoned for breaking his parole a few days after his arrest. Although it should come as no surprise considering how ingrained street culture was in Young Scooter's life and how gang life and keepin' stories shaped his music, he would have many more run-ins with the law after being released from prison in October of that year after serving 6 months. In an interview with Complex magazine, Young Scooter once discussed money, fame, and the streets, stating that he was particularly well known for his freestyles and that the trap subgenre inspired his musical approach. Like other trap rappers like Gucci Mane, he also made a career off of recording entire songs without writing down the lyrics. As long as it's about money, I don't really care what I say on the beat, he continued. Countable music is the best way to characterize my music. When you give it some serious thought and attempt to write it down, it sounds crazy. Young Scooter had always kept his personal life private, so when the news of his death initially surfaced, fans were shocked. He actually had 2 kids and a daughter, all of whom are still quite young, but many fans were not aware of this. This adds to the tragedy of his passing because he will never be able to see his kids grow up and become prosperous adults. Official accounts state that up until that morning, when everything changed, Young Scooter was in good health, active, and involved. According to reports, the situation started when a person contacted 911 to report seeing a woman who looked to be in peril at a trap house. But cops claimed they didn't see a woman or anything that would indicate someone's life was in danger when they got to the scene. The caller even reported hearing gunshots. There were rumors that Young Scooter was set up even though the house didn't seem to have been the location of a gunshot. Reports suggest that the caller may have made up the tale of a woman in peril since they knew it would result in a quick police response.
No indication of anyone being shot. This appears that there was, when he fell, some type of fracture injuries of the leg, which caused the bleeding.
You can assume that there were probably a lot of illegal substances there when the cops came because it was a trap home. Reports state that they found Young Scooter and another man at the house. The 2 men tried to run away when they saw the police. The plot takes a rather dark turn at this point. Young Scooter is accused of jumping over 2 fences as he ran from the scene. He apparently hurt his leg on a piece of metal that protruded from the fence while trying to climb the second one. It is thought that the metal penetrated a major artery in his leg, causing him to bleed quickly. When the police finally caught up with him, they tried to help him before taking him to the hospital because he was losing blood quickly. Unfortunately, sources claim that he did not survive since he had already lost too much blood. According to some accounts, Young Scooter's death wasn't merely an accident. The injuries that ultimately resulted in Scooter's death was initially thought to have been inflicted by a gunshot wound from one of the pursuing police officers. The Atlanta Police Department, APD, however, denied in a statement that any officers had fired a weapon. They asserted that Scooter was not shot by the police and that his death was an accident.
Being from the 200 block of William 9 Drive and Zone 3, officers responded to a dispute with a weapon. It was advised in the car remarks that shots were fired and a female was dragged back into the location. Once officers arrived, they knocked on the door. A male opened the door and immediately shut the door on the officers. The officers then established a perimeter. During the process of establishing the perimeter, 2 males fled out of the rear of the house. 1 male returned back into the house. The other male jumped 2 fences as he was fleeing. When officers located him on the other side of the fence, he appeared to have suffered injury to his leg. Officers rendered aid and he was transported to Ready Hospital where he was pronounced deceased. That male is going to be a 39-year-old male out of Atlanta. Just to be very clear, the injury that was sustained was not via the officers on scene. It was when the male was fleeing.
Nevertheless, some people still think that the incident was manufactured to guarantee a particular result, even after that official announcement. The truth is still unclear as to whether young Scooter passed away unintentionally or during a run-in with the cops. There were many warning signs about this case from the start. For instance, audio of the 911 call made to report the woman who was reportedly in danger was later made public by the police. The caller claimed to have seen a woman running about bleeding and carrying a child, raising the possibility that her life was in danger.
There was the house, literally the neighbors next door, the house of the address that I just gave you, the 273. There is literally a whole domestic dispute going on. There's like 7 guys that live in this house. And
What's your name?
I'm sorry, what is my name?
Okay. Okay. Tell me exactly what happened.
Okay, so I'm the neighborhood watch, and basically, like I said, these guys they're like selling drugs in and out of the house. All you see is guys coming in and out of the house with guns and stuff. They hold their guns in the air, and then it's like, I'm not sure if they're pimping, but it's the situation that's going on right now. This girl doesn't have on any clothes. They threw her outside. He was fighting the girl. He literally fought the girl. I'm not sure what they was fighting over. If they were fighting over, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like they were fighting over. And then they started. She had someone come over there, and they started. But the house needs to be investigated. They're doing illegal stuff over here. They're disturbing the area.
Fire.
I would say 3.
When did it happen?
It's happening now. So I believe the girl is hurt.
And they're coming from 273 William Drive.
That's not, yes. And the girl is hurt because she was like bleeding profusely, like blood everywhere.
Do you see or hear anything else?
Yeah, she's trying to get away, and they're holding her. She's being held hostage. Like she's trying to. They brought her. The guy that was fighting her, she ran outside naked, and then he was fighting her outside. And then there was another commotion. She tried to get away. He dragged her back in the house. So now they're at the door, literally fighting. She's trying to get out. He's refusing to let her out. And it's like 7 guys in the house. There's also a child in danger as well because she has a baby.
Okay, you said the female is naked.
Yeah, she's naked and she's bleeding profusely from her head.
Can you give me a description of the male?
The male is like has like a caramel complexion, low haircut.
Is he black, white, Hispanic, or Asian?
He's black and he drives.
What color shirt and pants do he have?
Regular blue jeans and like a regular like t-shirt.
Well, before I get into that, is this a house or an apartment?
This is a house, and I think you guys should get here quick because this girl he's really hitting her, and it's a child involved. And there is like 7 guys in the house, and they all have guns. You guys need to hurry and get here before she doesn't make it.
Ma'am, we already have help organized for her. What's the phone number you're calling? See exactly what happened?
there's a situation going on in this house. There's 7 guys that live here, and they're basically, I'm not sure if they're running some type of. This individual, she's a 5'2", light-skinned female, black hair. She ran outside naked, bleeding from her face. She tried to get away. She was dragged back into the house, and they're holding her hostage, and then there was a baby involved. So this situation is really serious, and he's punching her. If you guys don't get her, she's gonna...
However, there was no indication that any women were in danger when the police came. Although they are still looking into it, there is currently no proof that the woman ever existed. If she did, she might have just departed the area while the police chased young Scooter and the other man. Or maybe she disappeared into thin air.
We were not able to locate a female. We ended up with 2 males and the decedent.
Started in a car, a moving car?
No, outside of the residence. That's what was reported. We have not been able to substantiate any of that, which is also a part of our investigation.
And then when he jumped over the fence for one victim, what wound did he shoot himself?
No, there was no indication of anyone being shot. This appears that there was, when he fell, some type of fracture injuries in the leg, which caused the bleeding.
Clarify, this wasn't any involvement with the police as far as...
There's no, in neither one of these cases were officers involved in
The case is made even more suspect by the police's recent $5,000 reward offer to anyone who can identify the 911 caller or this mystery woman. After all, they don't give money away. Investigators are having trouble identifying the caller since it looks like the woman might have called from one of those public emergency-only phones. This basically validates for many that something far more nefarious is taking place behind the scenes. The woman who made the report was who? And was she aware that young Scooter would be there? Although fans are scrambling to answer these queries, it doesn't seem like they will be receiving responses anytime soon. In terms of solving this case, it appears that the police are currently as knowledgeable, or as ignorant, as online investigators. Additionally, identifying the 911 caller is still a crucial component that is lacking. The young Scooter's son thinks that someone with bad intentions set up his father. The identity of these individuals is yet unknown, but considering how swiftly rappers have been discredited in recent years, this could be the solution. Scooter was a wonderful man, and his children and loved ones are grieving his loss, according to sources close to the family. Knowing that he won't be around to see them develop and mentor them through life is a huge loss. Meanwhile, there is still conjecture. Why was young Scooter in a trap house in the first place? Was one commenter's question. Someone else said, when you level up in life, that low-stakes stuff should be behind you. However, who is truly aware of the truth? According to some, Scooter was tricked into going there to pick up a birthday present, only to enter a whole different kind of arrangement. What are your thoughts on all of this? Is young Scooter's death, in your opinion, the result of a tragic accident or something far more premeditated? We offer his family our sincerest sympathies. Remember to watch the next video and share your ideas in the comments section below. Of course, you should also subscribe, where we provide you with sugar-free, authentic tea. See you at the following one.